As I mentioned, the Republican Party in Texas officially adopted its platform over the weekend in its convention in Houston, and it has the left all worked up. Here to talk about it is David Barton, president and founder of WallBuilders, who was there. David, welcome back to the program.
Hey, Tony, good to be back with you.
All right, a lot of discussion in the media about the Republicans there gathering in Texas and passing a platform that is consistent, actually, with what they've passed in the past, but sending a strong message to the left that they're not backing up.
No, and I'm backing up. You know, I feel a lot like Elon Musk when he talked about how he used to be left of center. Now, I wasn't ever left of center, but he said the left has drug everything so far to the left that now being left of center puts you on the right of center. And so the very issues we're discussing, like marriage, it was only 7 years ago, the U.S. Supreme Court said, hey, those 31 marriage amendments in the state, they all go away. We're not going to do this as male and female traditional nuclear family. That's only 7 years ago. And so here Republicans are in Texas saying, hey, we still believe in that traditional family. We still believe in male and female. We still believe in traditional genders. And it's like the media, it's like we've been out of touch for 100 years, you know. They seem to forget what we all believed as Americans just a few years ago.
I don't think they've forgotten. I think they're they're trying to help others forget, or at least cover it up, because you're absolutely right. And it's been interesting to watch the headlines since the weekend, calling Texas Republicans regressive because, as you said, they haven't changed in their positions on these key fundamental issues. I mean, I think the reality is, as you said, the left is dragging, and I would say dragging, I think they are lurching to the left in at such a rapid pace that if you don't run behind them catching up, or you don't give in to what they're pushing, you're the problem.
Yeah, you know, Tony, it's interesting. There's a big dichotomy going on. And I think I know where it's going to end, but it goes back even 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, Jack Phillips and others, where that there were individuals who said, look, I don't want to participate in the LGBTQ agenda. Here's what I believe. I'm not fighting you guys, but I don't want to participate in what y'all are doing. And they said, oh, yes, you're going to bake cakes for us. You're going to take photographs for us. Or you're going to do a website for us or whatever. And they said, look, my faith won't let me do that. And so what we found at that time was we had a case that went all the way to the Supreme Court. And as part of that, we did polling here a couple of years ago, and most Americans said, look, why don't you two sides just get along? You know, let's not have a fight over it. And we said, okay, agreed. But if one side has to win, what's it going to come down? And we found that about 86% of Americans said, look, if it ever gets to the point where the LGBTQ is forcing traditional values people to conform to their beliefs, 86% of the people said that's wrong. We'll be on the side of the faith people if that happens. And that's what we're seeing right now, is they have pushed it so far that now we have to affirm everything they believe. We have to say what they want said. We can't have a difference of opinion. Fortunately, the U.S. Supreme Court has picked up a case for next year that deals with this very issue. Can people of faith be forced to conform to what LGBTQ agenda wants? And actually, it's LGBTQIA plus agenda. I'm a year behind on catching up with terminology. But most Americans are not at that position. And so while the media and big tech and all those guys are making a loud noise over this, that's not where most Americans are. That's just where all the noise is right now. Most Americans are still on the side of favoring religious people who have convictions that can't go along with that LGBTQIA plus agenda.
David, let me ask you this. My observation in watching, and I didn't watch it closely, but I watched the headlines, read a few of the articles coming out of the convention that you were at this weekend. My sense is, of course, I think the reason the left is mad is because Texans and other conservatives haven't given in and just gone silent, which is ultimately what they want. That's why they marginalize, calling you homophobic and all these other things. They want you to go silent. But is it that actually conservatives, as you said, tired of being pushed around, now seeing what this agenda is really all about, are more resolute in standing for these core value issues than they have been in the past?
I think there's a real problem going on here, and that is that we've seen, you know, even with Elon Musk, as he's starting to talk about doing things on Twitter, that it's driving the left crazy, that they're, you know, we're losing our ability to have just one voice. We don't want Twitter to have two sides of the opinion. And so what you're seeing is a lot of conservatives who feel like they have been shut out of any debate, any discussion, When they try to sound off, their opinions are not respected or listened to. They're attacked, they're vilified. And it's not just their opinions, they're vilified as being evil themselves for holding that opinion. I think that is starting to produce a bad effect in America, and that we're becoming so polarized, we can't have discussions. We can't talk about the merits of ideas. We can't look at consequences. We can't look at fruit. You have to conform now to what the pressure is. And this is where you're seeing a lot more pushback. And there are people now who are starting to stand up. We've seen it now for 2.5 years at school boards. It started back in Loudoun County and Fairfax County. You're teaching our kids what? You did what to my daughter? Yeah. Grooming how? And so parents are not being given a voice. And when parents started speaking out on that, here came the Justice Department saying, oh, you're a domestic terrorist. We're setting up a department to look at people who speak up at school board meetings. That's the kind of stuff the left is doing that is causing a lot more people to get a lot more backbone, and quite frankly, a lot more serious and a lot more dedicated in their backbone, and they're just a lot less willing to go along with being shoved around. And I don't think that's really a good thing for America. I think it's a lot better when we can have discussions. But you know what? What's happening right now is the left not allowing discussions, not allowing a second opinion, not allowing those voices on big tech or anything else. And so you get to the point where 9,000 delegates in Texas who represent the heart of grassroots in Texas, which is a very red state, they've said, look, we're just not going to be pushed around in this anymore. Here's what we believe, and this is where we're standing. And I think that kind of courage is good, but it's just unfortunate that we have to see it the way we saw it now, and the attacks that are happening just because those people believe what everybody's believed in America, basically, for 200 years.
Right. But I do think it's good that they're doing it through the process, and they're advancing these agendas in a legitimate way. And this shows you how out of touch the left is in terms of what America is about having that conversation. It's not that the conservatives don't want to have that debate or that conversation. It's the left that wants to shut down any competing thought. David, we're out of time. Always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today here on Washington Watch.
Good to be with you, Tony. Bless you.